Have you noticed your dog freeze for a second when you call them over, even when nothing seems off? It looks like hesitation, maybe even stubbornness, but it's not. Your dog shifts their weight back. And that tiny pause is so easy to miss. Here's the thing, it's not what you think. Your dog isn't just deciding whether to come to you. They're deciding something about you in that moment. In this video, I'll show you what's really going on in that moment, and why it changes everything once you do. Number 1. That 2-second freeze you always miss. That freeze lasts less than 2 seconds. Most owners blink right through it. They see hesitation, assume the dog is distracted, and call again louder. But the dog heard you perfectly. This has nothing to do with obedience. Your dog is reading the tension in your shoulders, the chemical signature of your last few minutes, and the history of every time you've called them. When your dog hesitates, you assume the problem is external. But the science suggests something far more personal. The problem, more often than not, is you. Not in a cruel way. In a way that reveals how deeply your dog is paying attention to your inner world. That's the uncomfortable part. Your dog is not reacting to what you're doing, but to what you're bringing into that moment. So how are they reading something you can't even feel yourself? Number 2. Your dog can smell what you felt 10 minutes ago. You've probably assumed your dog is simply responding to your voice. That's what makes the next discovery so unsettling. Before your dog even moves, they've already detected something you didn't know you were showing. In 2018, a team at the University of Milan found that dogs can smell the difference between human fear, happiness, and neutral states with over 90% accuracy. That means before your dog takes a single step, they've sampled your emotional history. And the pause is not just about identifying your emotion, it's about predicting what comes next. A study from Kyoto University showed that dogs will refuse food from a person who previously refused to help their owner. Your dog judges everyone's trustworthiness based on how they treat you. So that pause isn't hesitation, it's evaluation. To understand why the pause exists, we must go back 30,000 years to when dogs first started living with humans. Wolves don't pause because their hierarchy is fixed. But your dog's world changes every time you get a stressful phone call. Dogs evolve to survive by detecting change early, not waiting for certainty. A 2021 study from the University of Helsinki tracked over 13,000 dogs and found that those with stressed owners showed significantly more hesitation. Researchers called it emotional conflict checking. Your dog is asking one question: is the person I love safe to approach right now? And they're not reading just one cue. They're combining smell, sound, and body language in less time than it takes you to blink. Number 3. Why your dog watches your shoulders, not your hands. You might think they're looking at your hands. Most people do, but they're not. First, they look at your eyes. Dogs have learned that when they see more of the white part, it usually means you're stressed or angry. Second, they listen to your breathing. A 2022 study from Eötvös Loránd University in Budapest showed that dogs can hear changes in your breath from across the room. And third, almost no one guesses this. They check your shoulders, because dogs can read shoulder tension before you even realize you're tense. That means your dog often knows how you're feeling before you do. And that's where people misread the moment. What feels invisible to you is obvious to them. If your dog suddenly stops and their ears drop while their tail stays neutral, they've picked up on conflicting signals. Your voice says, "Come here," but your body says, "Back off." When that happens, your dog will always believe your body over your voice. Because in their world, your body matters more than your words. Why do so many of us miss this? Because we're too busy looking at their face. We expect dogs to communicate like humans, but they're reading a completely different language. One written in tension, breath, and posture. Number 4. We've been blaming them for our own moods. How many times have you repeated the command louder when your dog was actually trying to decide if you were safe? A 2019 study from the University of Bristol analyzed 400 interactions and found that in 73% of hesitation events, owners misinterpreted the pause as stubbornness. Only 8% realized their own emotional state had changed. We are blaming the dog for our own emotional inconsistency, and dogs feel that. Over time, that misunderstanding builds. A Duke University study followed the same dogs over 2 years and found something devastating. Dogs who experienced repeated misinterpretation began skipping the hesitation entirely. They just stayed away. The researchers called this anticipatory withdrawal. The silence gets quieter, and most owners never notice. If the hesitation disappears, does that mean the problem is fixed or something much worse? What's actually happening is more serious. The connection begins to change. Because a dog who stops hesitating hasn't stopped feeling uncertain. They've just stopped showing it. And that's the saddest part. They give up on being understood. Number 5. That slow approach is not what you think. What happens when your dog finally decides to approach? That last second before their nose touches your hand? The Wolf Science Center in Vienna found that when a dog approaches after a hesitation, their cortisol levels drop faster than if they rushed in. The dogs who hesitated ended up calmer and safer. Your dog is performing a safety check so they can love you without fear. That pause isn't a bug, it's a feature. Think about the last time your dog approached you slowly. Most people think that's submissive. But the University of Naples found this slow approach is associated with the highest levels of oxytocin in both dog and human. It is tenderness. Your dog is not hesitating because they doubt you. They are hesitating because they are protecting the connection. Here's something most dog owners never realize. Dogs only hesitate with people they love. With strangers, they either walk right up or stay far away. The pause only happens when there's a real attachment. Your dog wouldn't hesitate with a stranger because a stranger's mood doesn't matter to them. But your mood is the only one that can break their heart. That moment isn't about obedience. It's about trust. That pause is not a problem to fix. It's a message. So the next time you see that pause, don't get frustrated. Get curious. Your dog isn't being difficult. They're being careful with your relationship. So the next time your dog stops for a second before coming to you, do not rush them. They are not deciding whether to obey you. They are deciding whether you still feel safe to come to. That small moment is one of the most honest signals they give you. When they come anyway, despite the uncertainty, that is not hesitation. That is love doing something incredibly brave. Even when something feels off, they still choose you. If you want to understand what your dog is actually thinking and start recognizing the signals most people miss, subscribe and explore more videos on dog behavior, canine psychology, and dog communication.